Hi, my name is Tony Otoa, and I'm the Executive Director at the Stanbic Business Incubator Limited, an entity that is mandated to really take care of SMEs in the country, getting them to be the right caliber of SMEs that can withstand the current strains that we're facing in our business world. As you know, as we all know, COVID is kind of hitting us so hard. So that is what we do here. Really support SMEs to be the best that they can be, to be able to withstand the crazy conditions. I've been asked to say a word for the youth, and I think what I could probably say, three things. The first one is resilience. Trying to be the best that you can. Just be resilient. Whatever you're going through or whatever you have been through is a process, and it's something that's meant to make you stronger. But also, it's about really following through with your goals. Setting goals that are achievable, goals that you can actually push through, and making things happen. That's very, very crucial. But finally, enjoying the process of growth. Sometimes we want to jump so fast and do things in a haphazard manner, or trying to rush things, but I think it's about the process that we need to be enjoying. So I'm glad I could say these few words to you, and I hope that it can inspire or motivate some of you to be better individuals. Thank you.
Betitual in malfurite kamete kanenwa kan e one low TV and be mete bena kafoni furwate kan e yupwa mengech kingene wa ber kan chengcha bit weng chawa chel motiano ka kelo iwa dano wa mapatpar maguti mabe magitika kelo iwa awaka madwongo twal i Uganda ini kibene lowo tin ya yo madani atika loke umegi wa ma entie ngat madito twal i department pe biashara me business tin watika boko kera lok wa tiat irwa kit ma wan ben wa roma bedo dano magingeyo ngech i jemi me business en ye Tony Otoa akilira wati loko leb muono wa maku leb wo petek patwal. Tony, before you went on a break, you were telling us how you have now studied, graduated in the UK with a master's, with a degree, having come from a really humble background. Now you want to return to Uganda. What is pushing you? Many people do not want to settle back in Uganda.
Yeah, so I'll be honest with you. I did not come with a proper plan. Actually, many people in the UK were telling me, but you're living without even your citizenship. You're living without your residency. You're living without... No, for me, it was very much about, again, taking the risk. You don't know what's out there, but you believe it's a good thing that could come out of it. So I came back. When I came back, I started with Angelo again, tried to see what we could do. I set up something called Great Lakes Public Affairs. Great Lakes Public Affairs was an outfit that supported foreign businesses to understand the Ugandan market. So supporting them with country risk analysis, economic analysis, supporting them with registration and all of these things. And it was making money. But then along the way I started also consulting for the Civil Society Coalition for Oil and Gas, where I was the coordinator of the same. So I used to support the conversations on oil and gas at the civil society level, organizing workshops and conversations. And then all of a sudden, I get called by Total.
But Tony, oil and gas in Uganda, I think even up to now, is very mysterious and yet intriguing. Many of us do not know much about oil and gas.
Did you know that the North Nile in Nyoya has more oil than any other part in Uganda? People talk about Bulisa, Hoima. North Nile has a lot of oil. And that's why even you hear some names like Ngec and all these things or whatever, those are names of the oil wells. So it's again also about how our local people can enjoy the benefits of this opportunity. Many people who have been to Pakwach, in the areas of Pakwach or Nyoya district in general, you will notice some activity that is now happening. From the Tangi camp area, and there's a lot, all the way up to, all the way pretty much, all the way Nebi and all these places, you will see a lot of activity happening because of what's going to happen or what has happened before. But what's going to happen is bigger. It's bigger.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you having come from a media background, a background of all these things, oil and gas, which is, like I said, mysterious. What was pushing you into this direction?
Again, I think it was a new area at the time. even now, I mean, if you think of local content experts in that field, we're not more than, well, more than 5 or 6 or 10, at most 10, but I don't, the ones I know of are less than 5 or so. It's just one area that is new. As a country, it's the first time we're seeing this thing. You know the amount of money that's going to come into this economy over the next 5 years. We have never seen it, and our children might never even see it again. 20 billion US dollars. That's money. It is like forcing 20 liters of water in a 5-liter jerry can. That's what I can say. So, with that is also opportunity. The jobs, for people who are skilled, or the suppliers of goods and services. Look at the Nyoya area, that whole belt. There's a lot of nice rice that can actually be, used for that purpose, or for feeding people. You have over 15,000 people in one location, new people, eating good food, quality food. Who's going to supply this food if it's not our people? Cereal grows best in the north. We all know that. When I go to Lira and go through Produce Lane, you will just find that the only thing there is grain. This grain is now going to have people who can consume it. But this is also an opportunity for us to prepare ourselves. So there's so many things that we can do, so many conversations on how we can support our people. I'm glad that as we speak about this, because in my new role, we opened up a center in Gulu, but we are doing training all over the north. We're training in Nebi, Pakwach, we're training in Gulu, we're training in Lira, we're training in Kipgum, and the other northern district is Arua, and yeah. So we're covering the major towns, but our emphasis is to make sure that the local people benefit from this whole oil story.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you return, you have
Yes.
this business that's going on,
So
and
I
Total
return,
calls you.
And then Total calls me, and when they call me, I'm thinking they're calling me for a gig. So I sit in the office, 6 o'clock. Who first of all sets up a meeting at 6 o'clock? PM. I sit. We're talking, my life story. I'm waiting for, okay, this is the deal. It's not landing. Then after some time, the lady, Ahlem, very amazing lady, Ahlem Frigan, she was the head of corporate affairs. She calls, she says the general manager would like to speak with you. So I said, oh, that's amazing. So he comes in and again, long conversation. I said, but these people, what's happening? They say, we have a job at all we want you to support us with, which is public affairs. So public affairs is very much around lobbying, policy work, which I've already been accustomed to, and opening up doors for all the muzungus, So I was pretty much the go-between, and Parliament was my normal place. I'd always been there, had connections, from the speaker owners and whatever. But then also at that time, we began the negotiations for the pipeline, the conversations on the pipeline. So I was part of the team that began initially when we were going to Kenya to have conversations on the pipeline.
Wow.
Yeah, so we did that. So if you ask me about the pipeline and how it has ended there, I have a very good background of how and the meetings and everything. So it was a very interesting thing. So we did that, then of course agreed on the Tanzanian route. And then after a couple of years, I then got asked to also be national content manager. So national content manager is pretty much like what I'm doing right now. It is looking out for those businesses that want to get involved in oil and gas, hand-holding them, supporting them to become better, to become efficient, and to become knowledgeable of the sector, and to benefit from the sector.
That's huge. You need to have not only business knowledge, but even geopolitics.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's really a fair understanding of everything.
At this point, you've abandoned your business.
That was a very important thing because it would have been conflict of interest, so I had to let it go. And of course, the people who I hired did not really understand the future of where we're going, but we had to let it go. So I had to then concentrate very much on the Total job. And after about close to 6 years, I decided to let go. Yeah. So I got to a point where I felt I had reached my peak. I was flying all over the world. I was flying. My life was in a suitcase, selling the project, selling everything about Total and our upcoming project. But you know, in life, you get to a point where you also ask yourself the question of, are you fulfilled? And that's where that question really came. Am I fulfilled? So I just went to Ogun one day. I am in the village, and I just decided on a Sunday I'm going back to retire, to resign. Rather. So I came back on a Monday. I had my fish project there. I came back on a Monday and I resigned. When I resigned, I just went home, packed up my things. My wife was not very happy with me. She was a month due. Wow. And she was complaining about insurance. I said, yes, no, we shall manage. We shall manage. So I left and I went, packed some things and went back to Lira.
So one would think that at this point in your life, you would be happy with the oil and gas. Having come, like I said.
What is happiness?
You tell me. Because at this point, you're looking for something. Yeah. And at this point in your life, it feels like oil and gas was the ultimate.
I had a good paying job. I was like a poster child, going around talking about our project, going around speaking about, I mean, you say you Googled stuff about me, and I think you've seen a lot of that stuff, but happiness is, I've come to realize it's a very personal thing. It's a thing, you know when you sleep at night and you sleep well.
Like a baby.
You're content, and you have this gratitude of your family. You know, things that you can't quantify with money or titles or anything of the sort. And for me, going back, no job by the way and whatever, but I have this happiness. That was good for me. That was really, really worthwhile for me. It gave me time to reflect on, you know, my priorities as well. And also, you know, sometimes you can have this money, but you're in the wrong lane.
Yeah.
And then you ask yourself, okay, after 5 years, is this? So then you have to come back now and refocus. And so I was content. But I'll also tell you one thing. If you know your value, it's very difficult for someone to prescribe a value to you. If you know your worth, or if you know where you're going,
exactly,
it's difficult for someone to assume they know where you're going.
So did you know where you were going at that point?
Yes and no. Because I had my job, remember?
Yeah.
But I knew, and I had the belief that sometimes for anything great to happen in your life, you have to take random, drastic changes. And some of them are just pursuits that are so random. If you think about many great people who've existed before, they've left something great and bigger that the normal world would assume is the life, to go for something that they don't really, you know, that people are kind of like think, oh my God, this guy, is he really serious? So that for me is what happened. And then happily, because of my work in the oil and gas sector and what I've been doing for businesses and all of that, I get my job at Stanbic.
So you returned to Lira to do your fishing business.
Yes.
How long were you there before you get there?
2 months plus.
Did it feel like something that is not?
No, I was home. Every Saturday was market day. You know, in my village it's market. It's a Ngene market day on Saturday. I would wake up, shower, be at the market by midday, drink marwa, catch up on the daily conversations in the area, what's happening. You know, you buy Igolaga, and people say, you man, you have to be MP, you man, when are you coming? You know, now there's our MP, they call her Guacadaho.
Yeah.
Say, you know, right now it's Gutmoy, but there's a person called Guacadaho, she's coming for Gutmoy. You should come. I said, I'm not a politician now. I'm just a community developer and good guy, you know. So that's how I get an opportunity as well to then, you know, come to Stanbic, and I begin this journey where we have done so much in trying to train.
How did you get this job?
So One, I had Patrick Muhere had a high regard for me, considering the fact that I was very much in the oil and gas space, where he is as well. But also, I was a local appointed advisor of the Uganda Chamber of Mines and Petroleum, where he was at the time the vice chairman and now the chairman. So I've been very pivotal in that area and working with them, supporting them on local content conversations, advisory services around oil and gas local content. So that is where, I got that opportunity, the idea of, there's a great guy out there who can support us on this. So I get called in. I had never worked in a bank before. My first day, or my first week, I almost considered quitting. They were throwing away big words, KPL, KYC, hey! I would just nod my head.
Like you knew. So Tony, you were called and recommended for this job, like you said. And having listened to your story, you've never applied for a job. The jobs come looking for you.
I always say, if you put yourself or mind into something and you put time into it, you become easily recognizable in that area. So it's just a matter of time that people will always seek you out. Can I be very honest with you?
Yes.
And I want to say this in good faith. The last job I probably applied for was my kitchen job and the job at Ladros.
In the UK?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so I think for me it's really just trying to do the best that I can do and get noticed and get, people to say they want to work with me or I am a right fit for an opportunity. But I think that's for me a worthwhile thing. Yeah.
So you're here, you're being called to come back into the oil and gas space. Did you feel like you had had enough of that and that you had nothing more to bring to the table?
So I was done with the corporate world. But I decided, let's give it a shot again. But I think for me it was a very great opportunity as well. Because I was in an oil and gas area, now I'm in a banking financial area. It was a whole different ballgame of how can we do things differently, And that for me was the challenge. Going in, like you remember the journalism part, going in without any idea or clue, but saying no matter what I have to become better than.
Yeah.
And in a very short time, I joined in 2018, and last year, 2020, I was appointed chief executive. So, and how Stanbic works is you have a holding company, which is a chief executive, then you have 5 different subsidiaries. The bank with its chief executive, the incubator with its chief executive, the properties company, Fly Hub, and the securities company. And all of these, I'll be very honest with you, it's just because of just trying to do my job.
So as somebody who's watching you today, hearing you that you've never worked in the banking sector, and now here you are, chief executive, what can they do to be like you?
Just do the best that you can do with yourself. The most interesting journalists are actually not people who went to journalism school. You'll be amazed. Or the most interesting DJs are not people who went to music school. They're doctors. My friend David Mpanga is now a DJ. It's really about your passion. My passion is about business. My passion is about businesses, growing businesses, supporting them, oil and gas stories and all of these things. That's what I spend a lot of my time on. And the more time I spend on that, the easier and the better for me to be understood, but also the easier for me to put my message across. And the moment you understand how to put your message across, doors open up for you.
In simple words, what is it that you do here at the Stanbic Business Incubator?
So we do several things, but the most important thing is we try to support small businesses, micro, small and medium businesses to grow and to thrive. Our goal for us is to say, how do we build a story that can make these businesses look back 5 years from now, 10 years from now and say, wow, these guys created an impact in our business. First and foremost, you need to understand that Ugandan businesses, or Uganda is a very entrepreneurial country. almost every day businesses are being opened up at URSP. But you go back this time next year, you'll find that 90% of the businesses are dead because of the issues within the business and how they run it. Why we do this and why we are passionate about this is because we want to grow with businesses and have a story that can resonate with them. That's why we don't care whether you bank with us or not. As long as you're a Ugandan business and you're ready to accept us to walk the journey with you, we walk the journey. And so far we've trained over 2,000 businesses since 2018, since our inception. If you look at the impact of some of these businesses, it's a good story. It's a good story where a guy just is driving by and stops by and brings everyone lunch and says, guys, if it wasn't because of you guys, and you're thinking, but for me, beyond just that is the whole story of, it's nice seeing people happy, huh? Seeing an old woman, because we like now focusing very much around women and youth. Seeing an old woman, a young guy, putting out his hustle and being recognized, doing something worthwhile with his life and growing.
So it's not only limited to oil and gas, even IT, agriculture.
If I took you to Hoima, where we have done the pilot on agriculture that we're going to spread around the country, it's nice. It's a nice story. A very nice story. We're in transport. If you think about it, oil and gas is our focal point, but all the other things flow into oil and gas. Agriculture, people need to eat. Transport, people need to be transported. Catering, people need to be served food or the camps need to be managed. So all of these areas that we are looking at eventually flow into oil and gas. Yeah.
Tony, for our viewers, majorly who are from the north, we're not very gifted in terms of business. I don't know, but from my analysis, we are not very good. First of all, we like to look down at jobs.
Yeah.
You, as a person who is so passionate about business, what would you like to tell to our people?
Anyone can be a business person. It's just how much effort or time they put into that business. If you look at an Indian, and these Indians, they're even in my training center now. An Indian man is here, his son is seated here. Every 1,000 that comes, the son is seeing where it goes, how he's learning. By the time this son is 15, he's running that business. I've seen this in Hoima, I've seen it in many places. This means anyone can be a business person. The question is, are we ready to go the long way? Business is about saying, this is what I want to do, this is what I want to sell, and also solving a problem. Don't just do business just because you're doing business. Don't just come and put, because now in my village, the biggest business or in my small training center is almost lira. Huh? But it's because, again, the need is there, and that's a business. So it's really about saying you are interested in something and you want to pursue it completely, because the world is getting crazy, especially this country. Our population is growing, jobs are becoming fewer. So entrepreneurship is becoming the best way that you can actually survive, or the best way that you can thrive to better yourself. And I think for me, it's really about, let them come to us. Let them come to our locations, at the Stanbic locations, and we'll support them on that journey. From unregistered, we shall even make sure they're registered. And we've done it before. We have catalogs of businesses here that have actually done it. And I'm confident that if we actually, or if they come to us, we can support them. That is what we're here for. Wow. That is why we exist.
You're a man who has worn many hats as a business person.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, as a former journalist, where do you see the media landscape of Uganda at this moment, or where is it going?
I begin by saying that things have changed from my time. Things have really changed. So the media today is dealing with issues of new technology. You have social media that spreads news faster than the news. Back in the day, you'd wait for the news, right?
Yeah.
Now, by the time news is coming on, you've already seen it on social media. The landscape has really changed. So I think it's really about being agile, flowing with the flow, having conversation different. I mean, look at how spaces are kind of disrupting radio talk shows. Yeah, because pretty much the people who would be on radio talk shows are now going onto these spaces, and yet radio talk shows are actually cheaper because you just turn on your radio. You don't have to have electricity. But now here you're even spending on data to be on. The landscape has really changed, but I think for me it really calls for agility, being able to blend into flow with the flow, because things are going to change. When COVID began, this place here was a fully fledged training center. We had to kill the swimming pool to build a training room. We had to do so much to make this place a crazy thing. COVID came. That was a wasted investment. Now we had to go to cameras to kind of live stream and train. And it was effective. And we found out that people actually attend classes more. People actually complete classes more. They are online on the learning management platforms more. We said, okay, things have changed. Are we going to go back to how we were doing things before or not? Now, we were open 2 days ago. Some people have gone back to their pre-COVID days.
Yeah.
Forgetting that there's something that came in that shocked all of us and made us realize the world can switch its head on us. So, same with journalism. Times have changed. I think it's really about being agile, being innovative, and jumping onto the new conversations. I actually don't even like talking about oil and gas too much now, because everyone is talking about green energy. Everyone is talking about clean energy. You have COP21, COP26, everyone is talking about new things. So we also have to evolve and start thinking how we can change that conversation and narrative away from oil and gas to a new conversation on clean energy and all of that.
Learning from you is not a good thing to stay static. You always have to keep moving.
Yeah.
I want to talk about what you're doing together with your friend Robert Kavshenga at 360.
Yeah.
You're doing a tremendous job.
Thank you.
Is it something that you love to do? How do you juggle, knowing that you're a very busy man?
I think it's just about, I want to say, if something is important to you, you will make time for it. If something is important to you, you will make time for it. So there's nothing like being busy. If someone tells you they're busy for you, you are not important to them, or you do not come in the hierarchy of importance to them. So I think for us it was just a way of giving back, but also sharing our experiences and knowledge, but also bringing on board unsung heroes. Not your common guys. Nowadays you media people, the same economics expert on Monday will be the same economics expert on Tuesday, and the same political expert, and you're like, wait, are there no other people with different views? So our thing was just to say, let's just go randomly and pick out some interesting people who the wild public doesn't know about, but are doing a great contribution towards humanity. And I think we've done a fairly good job. It's been running for over 6 months.
Every single day.
Unpaid for. So
you're giving back to the
community. It's giving back really. And the feedback is really positive.
Yeah. We are on tuned every day 7 p.m.
Thank you. I actually remember when it was the 40 days initially, some radio stations in Lira would actually play it live.
360?
Yeah.
Wow.
Live. And I would be like, okay, this is really, really good.
Wow.
Yeah. There was a day actually I was really excited with someone called me from there and said, hey, we hear you. And so I was really excited. So yeah.
Wow.
And you can see the impact on the conversations. These are the conversations that people need. We've just come out of COVID. Many people have lost their lives or lost their businesses or lost relations. So right now is a time for uplifting each other.
Yeah.
Having the right conversations that speak to uplifting each other. Ubuntu. Yeah. I am because of you.
Yes.
You are because of me.
Yes.
If you shine and I'm not shining, we all look bad.
True.
So we all have to shine together.
Wow.
And it doesn't cost me anything if I'm a candle and I light you as a candle. The room even becomes brighter. Just like how you have these lights. Imagine if you had one. But now that you have two, the room becomes brighter. So the more the merrier.
True.
Yeah.
Because time is not on our side. We'd like to know more about Tony. What does Tony do when he's not doing all these business things, all these being a lawyer, former journalist? What food do you like? What co-curricular activities do you do? Do you like our Olel food?
Of course. You know, one of my favorite foods actually is boyo. I actually learned how to do it.
Oh, you know?
Yeah, I learned how to do it.
You know, it's not easy.
I learned how to do it. So now, whenever I pass Karuma, there are those ladies immediately after the bridge who sell tomatoes and all that stuff. I always pass to get the dry one. They dry it, you know? Even okra, they dry the okra.
Yes.
Then I go home and I use the portions that I'm going to cook with my odi that I brought from Karuma. I know how to do that. The only issue is the mingling of the kalo, but...
what do you eat it with kalo? Or?
So usually posho. I just
posho,
yes,
yeah,
because kalo...
Kalo is
that's a tricky one. But what I like to do, I like to do several things. I'm very much of a people person, but I like to socialize and roast. I like roasting. If you invited me to a party, I will always push away the man who's roasting and take over.
Wow.
I like doing it because it was what I used to do. But besides that, I just have like a passion for leadership, and that's why we have this Ubuntu Leadership Safari.
Oh, okay.
So we have decided to give it a home in Ogur.
Where?
In my village.
Oh, okay.
So we built some cottages, and what we are starting to do this February is to take people to experience leadership conversations around a bonfire, to walk and converse and commune with the community, and also to see ways in which we can be of help to one another. So we are growing it from my village to become something that is great. We already have partners who have joined in and want to be part of this and want to create chapters in their country. One in Ghana, one in Ethiopia, and one in the US. The US story is quite interesting because when he saw it, he loved it. And he sent us lots of cups and everything with the Ubuntu Leadership Safari, and we're like, okay.
This is your initiative?
Our initiative. So me and a brother of mine called Otim Emi. Yes. Yes.
Very impressive.
Yeah, so this is what we're really passionate about. We just want to just have conversations and inspire young people to see things differently. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Your parting shots, what would you want people to, especially for now, especially people from our area, how can you inspire them to be better people in terms of business, in terms of leadership, knowing that, you know, for over 20 years, some of us, okay, us from the north, we've been, you know, unstable because of the war. So the mentality of the people is not driven towards really hustle like you have done. So what can you tell them?
I'll pull up my nice blue book. It has something that I think would be worthwhile, and I'll just read it out to you. It's a very interesting part, and this is really about the attitude. You know, these are lions here. Lions have an attitude. The attitude of a lion is very interesting because this is not the biggest animal in the jungle. It is not the most intelligent animal in the jungle. It is not the most scary or the fastest animal in the jungle. But you know what's funny? When an elephant sees a lion, it runs away. When any animal sees a lion, it runs away. Why? The attitude of the lion. I wonder what people in the north to have the attitude of the lion. Things have been tough, yes. But when your attitude is right, you can still do whatever it takes to become the best that you can be. Tough times don't last.
Yeah.
And if you have the right attitude, the attitude of the lion, the world becomes easy. That's all I can say for now.
One word for the people in Lao. In Lao.
Ha, 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 ha. In my language?
Yes.
Apoyo much.
Tony Otoa. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I've been speaking to Tony Otoa, very big man. Ki lepwa meluo labiacara madir Uganda ini one mag tunku malme Uganda. Wati kya waka madir enteka temtit. Madir kan is Stanbic Business Incubator. Tijgi memiu kero ki business matino meddo mengiu Ngec ijemi me biacara. Wabiri kanyam kere lo kan ki le muono watamu no winyo. Alego ni kong wagi kakany iyupwa Ngec Ngene uko wadare cheng chabet mabiano ana bedo ema kwera alego ni ubet mabe.